Hey, yo, everybody, what is going on? Another episode 190 to be exact. Fuck, coming up on 200. Uh, Welcome to the All Pro JAFFOs, ladies and gentlemen, the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. I am your host, JP.
Hey, yo.
With me, as always, the 6'10 beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
I don't know if he played me now or am I talking first? I couldn't hear if yeah. So
Oh, he played it.
I'm here.
Yeah, he played
He
it.
did. All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't know if he played me first or if I was going first because I can't hear it. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm here, guys.
You motherfuckers.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get any further, this episode helped brought to you by Groundbreaking Enterprises, the premier real estate company ready to buy your house as is. Considered selling. Call 510-646-7891 and get your no obligation offer now. Quickly, before we kind of really get dive into the show and stuff like that. Uh, on the 23rd, yesterday, um, after being reported missing since late February, unfortunately, the body of Wild 94.9 host and Bay Area legend, JV, uh, Jeffrey Vandergrift, has passed away. He had been diagnosed with Lyme disease. We don't know if that had any contributing factors into what had happened, but at least from what we now know, authorities have said that no foul play has been discovered. But it's one of those things that, I mean, me growing up in the Bay Area, at the age of 9, 10 years old, and then all through most of my adulthood, that I ended up moving here to Sacramento. Wild 94.9, obviously one of the biggest stations in the Bay Area. JV in the morning show was a huge hit. Amongst the people. JV was uh, very invested in the community. Um, so to see somebody um, as young as him, again, a Bay Area legend, well respected um, throughout the entire Bay Area. Um, dare I say the entire state of California, maybe further than that. Um, we uh, so sorry to hear for the loss, and our condolences and our prayers go out to JV and his family. And before we move on, just to honor him as we do on this show for a lot of fallen greats that come and go, we will have a 10 bell salute for Jeffrey Vandergrift, the great JV from the JV show in Wild 94.9. Passing on. And once again, rest in peace, JV. You will be sorely missed. Um, moving in real quick before we get to talking to our great friend and friend of the show, Corey Hammond. It's a good day for the UK. Not the UK as in Britain. Good day for the U, country K. Women's basketball advanced. Men's basketball advanced, taking out Houston. There are no more number 1 seeds inside of the tournament. And it's only the Elite 8. So that's wild. I've never seen that in my lifetime. Alabama also got upset by San Diego State. You talk about a wild March. It started off crazy, and it hasn't disappointed at all throughout this entire time. Kay, your initial thoughts on the U, both men's and women's team moving on. I know it's great to see the U doing well because you haven't been too satisfied with seeing them on the football field. So, initial thoughts on the men's and women's basketball team for the U. He's there. I know he's there. He's just muted. There you go.
Say it again.
I said
Just the last part of the question.
your initial thoughts on both men's and women's basketball teams for the University of Miami getting the upsets and moving on to the Elite 8. Your initial thoughts.
So boys, hey, look, so I'm gonna say it like this. We were talking about men's probably what 2-3 weeks ago. And I told you straight up, I said I don't have much faith in them, just simply because they'll play really well, and then they'll play down in their competition. So I really don't know. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I told you. If I'm not mistaken, that's verbatim. You know what I mean? Did exactly what the fuck I said. Outside of losing to a shit team, they literally played to their competition. They played number 1 and they beat number 1. They played up like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? So, I'm happy that the men's beat number 1, but yeah, we gotta get past the Elite 8. We need to be Final Four. Happy. Shit, in the chip, really. You got 2 more games. You know what I mean? You got actually 3 more games. You got the Elite 8 game, you got the Final Four game, you got the chip. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So you got 3 more games right now. Same thing with women. Women got 3 more games right now. Hey, yeah. I'll be honest with you, them girls. Hey, I got way more faith in them girls than I do the boys. Because them girls be out there. They be out there scrappy. They be out there owning it. They out there owning that shit. They love it. They out there big dog status. They don't know who I am. Shout out to Bush, be another Miami artist. That's a Miami artist. I gotta represent Florida in the sense we talk about Miami. He from you know what I mean? I gotta, you know what I mean? They on their big dog status, like Bushy B talking about. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it has been very, very interesting watching the twins from the Miami U women's team, the twins, giving you flashbacks of the old Disney movie. I don't know if you remembered it. I don't know if Mav remembers it. To be quite frankly, I don't know if anybody who watches this show remembers it. Okay, so Kay knows exactly that. Kay knows exactly that.
Hey, no. The passenger in the car knows the movie, which is you know what I mean, my homegirl. I don't know this shit. She just told me. Disney holic. As soon as you said this shit, she's like, double team, start whispering, and I'm like, the phone is muted. And then she told me.
Okay, so that wasn't under your own knowledge then.
Fuck no, dude, you know me better than that. That shit, and we ain't talking about that. that's only by a Disney movie I can quote. You know what I mean? Like, I can quote that Disney movie.
That's fucked up, okay?
Boys ain't brawl blocking for rail. Now brawl take a minute. That's the only Disney movie I can quote.
That's fucked up, okay?
And
I
that's
was
real.
gonna
I
say, I
can't
was like,
quote
was
no
it Double
MCU
Team or
movies or
was it
nothing.
like Twin Magic or something like that? But I guess Double
phrasing.
Team.
Dude, she is a Disney Hall of Fame. Like, she's in the Disney Hall of Fame, bro. Just take the name and just run. It's called Double Team.
Double Teamed it is. That's what we're going with.
Literally, Twin
Phrasing.
Magic. She's laughing at you saying Twin Magic right now.
Mav,
Like,
take
she's
your mind
laughing
out of the
at
damn
you,
gutter.
with you. No, the movie. Like, she's laughing at you thinking that's the name of the movie. Like, think Disney, bro. Disney. Disney. She's laughing at your suggestion.
Wait, what?
Holy, that might be.
You're coming.
Instacart. All right, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
She's laughing at your suggestion of the name Double Team because of the Disney movie, not because of the phrasing.
So that's why
Or
I was
Twin
telling
Magic.
Matt.
That's what
That's what I was telling
she's
Maverick.
laughing.
I was like, Maverick,
She's
take your
laughing
head
at
out of the
Twin
damn
Magic.
gutter right now.
No, that's why I'm not. The name of the movie is Double Team. That's the answer. But she laughed
Yes.
at Twin Magic. That's why she laughed at it. Because of the Disney movie you named, she laughed like, gotta be fucking kidding me, like type shit.
I'm sorry, I'm not that into. Let me guess, was Twin Magic some sort of fucking show on Disney as well?
Nope. Shaking her head hard.
Nope. Yep.
No, I'm
So
like, bro,
shaking her head
Disney,
hard.
like, bro,
She said, "Hell, fucking
this
no."
is the person that this is, you know, those games where it's like, would you rather or would you either Disney edition shit? She plays all that shit and know the answers. Like, she is that into Disney, bro. My homegirl's that
Well,
into Disney, bro. Like, I'm trying to
good to
tell
know
you.
that if we ever go into a Disney trivia spot somewhere, I don't know when we would do that, how we would do that, or if ever we would do that. We know who to go to for all the answers.
That's a fact.
We got that money in the bag. But what if we met up with other Disney superfans? Does shit like that get violent?
Hold on, say it again.
Does Disney arguments get violent? I feel like they do.
Yes, bro. Star Trek and Star Wars have been fighting for over 30 years. Like, that was
Probably
literally a
longer than
thing.
that.
Like, it was, people made parodies about them fighting in regular shows, in movies. Like, it's a real thing.
Disney is just fighting with themselves, apparently.
I mean, no,
Well,
I
they
feel
got
like it's
who are they? Isn't
they're
Pixar part of Disney? It is, right?
Pixar. I don't think Pixar is a part of Disney. I think Disney just uses Pixar as an outlet for animation and shit like that. Because I think Pixar works with everybody.
Mm. Oh, kind of like what, like a DreamWorks and
Exactly the same.
like the separate company type of thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what that is.
Maverick said for Star Trek and Star Wars, it's been 50 years.
See what I'm saying? Hey, look, Mav, no, I'm not lying. Oh, he's no, I'm not lying. Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, he know I'm not lying, bro. I'm telling you, like they fight about that shit, and seriously, like this, I seriously feel like, just think about it like this, like the MCU and fucking the DC shit, they fight.
Yeah, but there's not really an argument right now. If you're talking
Right now,
about
because
comics,
it's only because
sure.
it's only because they're not letting the Japanese motherfuckers take over again for Warner Brothers. Or the same, like the fucking shit I sent you about the Batman shit. Honestly, I started watching it again. I can't finish it because I always remember to watch it when I'm in bed and I fall asleep.
Of course.
At the good part. And I'm like, oh man, this shit's getting good. Is what time? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, okay. Listen, we've definitely been talking about this one. Before we get to it, because we know he's in the waiting room, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our friends over at Race.
What's up, Jaffo Army? JP here of the All Pro Jaffos, bringing you a message from our proud partners over at Raise Energy. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring the consumer a powerful yet sustained energetic experience to help us put your workouts and focus in general to the very next level. Perfect for anyone at any time. Raise Energy has become the most popular, the best rated energy drink on the market to date, with a phenomenal flavor profile that puts most of the competitors just downright to shame. Powered by the enhanced Refresh technology, Raise Energy delivers with a performance-enhancing energy drink profile that aids in the most often overlooked categories, which include targeted focus, enhanced recovery time, as glycogen becomes depleted, improve clean energy levels, boost in stamina and in hydration. Most importantly, each can of Raise has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. You should not have to drink or settle for any other energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, opt for the smart choice with the #1 fan voted energy drink on the planet with Raise Energy Drink. Use the promo code ALPHARAISE at checkout to get 15% off of your order. Demand more. Join the Raise Rebellion. Let them know the JAFFOs sent you.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, coming out of the break, the man of the hour. He's got a whole bunch of shit that he's got to talk about today. An A7FL quarterback and 1/3 of the 3-on-1 podcast representing the A7FL. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, Corey Hammond.
What's up,
Corey,
Army?
you've got news. I've been trying to keep it as I didn't know if it was something that needed to be kept kind of tight-lipped to begin with, but I tried to do it as best as I possibly could. But there's breaking news for Corey Hammond.
Well,
What's going on?
the first bit of breaking news, we'll do it in order, and then we'll end the show with it, I think. But the first bit of breaking news, and it is a little bit breaking to me, and by breaking, I mean to my heart.
Oh no.
For as much of a clown as I've been for the team from Rawway, which will not be named, guys, Friday, after mentioning to Ant Richardson, who runs the team, that there was a certain 6'10" beast from the Southeast that potentially could help out the team, I was unceremoniously cut from the Schno Tribe.
It wasn't because you sent them that, right?
I'm pretty sure no, but for the sake of the show, I'm going to blame you guys. It's your guys' fault. I worked this entire off season. I lost 40 pounds. I was completing nothing but touchdowns and drop passes in practice. But what they told me, to be fair, is that I did not call enough run plays in the practices, even though I won the head-to-head scrimmages against our own squads. And yeah, you know, they're gonna have a season, and I wish them to not, you know, have horrible, terrible things happen to them. But that's probably the extent that it goes, to be polite. But I promised you guys not to take up an hour and a half, and I also promised my wife. So I'm here to answer questions about said roster moves, and I won't go into my whole 2-hour-long story of the entire Snow Tribe saga. But
Just saying, we prepared for it. I'm just letting you know.
that's true. That's true. I was trying to prepare to be a better guest as well. So I was more focused on the A7FL at large, because the free agency of a 36-year-old quarterback could go under the radar a little bit, and then it'll be my job to prove Snow Tribe wrong. But that it's professional football, man. You go out, you get you have the team that you're on use your name to recruit a whole bunch of decent players because they were trashed the year before. And then once the players can't really move to another team without it being an issue, they cut you, boy. So I'm sure if you're a listener of the 3-on-1 podcast, you will not I will not be shy moving forward with my honest takes. And let's just say I won't be petty or biased ever.
Two things. One, that's a lie. Two, when have you ever held back?
Well, there are certain plays, like for instance, if it's like first or second down and I look down the field and I might be forcing the ball into a turnover, I might hold that back. But as far as my opinions, I think we would have to go far into the what I will say is that when I have a lot of conversation with A7FL players, like off the record, and I will say that I never leak that shit, because there would be plenty of shit to talk about that would be awesome. But then guys would stop talking to me. So as far as my own opinion, though, yeah, I, in my head, I'm going back to 7th grade, and some of the things that we like to a pastime I'd say the three of us share makes it harder to go further back much than 4th grade, and I don't remember a time. Nope.
I mean, there's a lot of head collisions that happen, so I expect
not
anybody
in the
to remember them.
not in the A7. Remember?
Oh no, not in the A7. Oh, before that.
So would it be fair to assume? And this is all I'm saying. It's like just moving forward. Would it be fair to assume that I would say that in the last practice that Snow Tribe had, in which team versus team, they only were able to complete a collective 3 passes, I heard from a player after I left, and that on the Monday after the Friday they cut me, they did call me back to try to get me back on the team after seeing what their quarterbacks that they chose over me could do in practice. Would it be safe to assume that I would leak that information and say that, good luck this season, guys, with the quarterbacks that you think are better than me that can't complete passes? But that would just be an assumption, a safe assumption, but just an assumption.
What did you want to see before you start making roster moves, like, cutting people?
To be fair to those guys, they know that the guy they went with is a guy that came in literally with only 2 weeks left in the offseason. And it's a guy that they knew from previous seasons in which he was unsuccessful as a quarterback in this league. So they had a comfort level with his unsuccessful career and his career trajectory. And I think that was what they were really going for, because as much as you guys, when you were talking to Rob, lauded his success, which he has obviously a lot more, the amount of unsuccessful play that the quarterback that chose over me has had actually trumps even my own, and he's played a lot less years because he was unsuccessful. So good luck to them. There's a lot of great guys. No cap, there's a lot of great guys on that team. A lot of big time players on their roster, like Isaac Negron, a guy that it took something that's green and is actually made of cloth but looks like paper to get him on that team. So and that happened with 2 weeks left. Isaac Negron, the defensive player of the year, when he joined the team, the first thing he did was call me, and then 2 days later he was informed at practice that I had been cut, as well as a standout former Division I wide receiver, a guy Shane Turner, who was actually fighting for me hard. And I appreciate you, my guy, trying to get me back in the roster. And I let him do it just because of how petty I am. I wanted to hear them ask to have me back and just say no to them. and I left them because the guy who runs the team, and I won't say his name to embarrass him, but the guy who runs the team, he is you know, a big time supporter in the league. He's been doing a lot of great things for his squad and his roster, but like he's very, very concerned about the jersey policy. And as we all know, a successful organization, you know, first and foremost, the jersey policy is the number one and most important thing. So when Snow Tribe would have their meetings every week, the guy who ran the team, and like I said, I'm not going to say his name to disrespect him, but he made sure that for the you know, the 30 minutes of the 31 minutes that he was talking, that we knew the jersey policy. So I mean, you know, the Snow Tribe, they're running their organization great, and they have a lot of success. Last year they only beat the 0-6 Animals twice, and they beat 1-5 team from Ohio, and that, you know, that was enough for them to take victory laps. And like I said, based on the direction of the quarterback that they chose, I think their goal is unsuccess. And I have to really just I have to, you know, honor their,
Losers,
you know, the direction of where they're trying to go. And if that's the direction they're going, then it's a different direction than I'm going in. So I totally understand their decision and respect it, and wish them the worst of luck.
Corey, um, I mean,
Oh, don't be like that. If I had a rock, I'll bust your head, bitch.
But if you notice, I did get the extra grays from the cuts.
yeah, I just look at it and I'm kind of, I mean, you took pretty much and just said as much the most respectful shit talking I think I might have ever heard.
If you're not listening carefully, it almost sounds like I was being complimentary.
Almost compliment. But I mean, it's gotten to a point now, because I mean, I even told you over the phone. I mean, first you, one, I don't know why the fuck you apologized.
Well, you guys
Because
had my back, so it's like the other
I
thing.
mean, and we still do. That's not going to change just because, you know, one decision of another team, you know, that apparently again does not want to win. That's their decision. So I mean, again, it's
Well, let's be
that
honest.
would
Let's be
be
honest. Time will tell how well the decision goes, because if they can make it work, and to be 100% real with you, if they make it work, and that's what works for their team, then, you know, that's every right. The only real issue that I had is that with 1 week left before the season starts, is really not a lot of time for not only myself. I had other teams that were interested in calling me even earlier in the offseason. So I wasn't really in as bad of a spot as some of the other guys that were going to every practice, going, you know, attending every meeting, doing all the right things that they were being preached to was going to be important. And then like there's like a new guy, and there's this guy, I'm not going to go into his full name, but his name's Mike. He would have been a rookie. You know, he's really excited about the league. He looked at some of the other players and was kind of like, you know, not like starstruck, but he was like proud that he was, you know, kind of like working with these guys and like rubbing elbows with, you know, A7FL players and shit. And they didn't end up keeping him, which is totally their decision. But there's other rosters that he could have at least tried out for or got onto. And, you know, I tried to help him out, and I think it worked out for him. And, you know, there's a situation where he kind of backdoored it. But like guys like that, you know, they weren't going to be able to just like reputation just walk on to another roster, because all of the rosters are closing. Obviously, the games are in 2 days.
right.
So it was just kind of it was just kind of like, for all the things that they were preaching about in the off season, because they wanted to run it like a professional organization, and they're run by and owned by a guy who plays professionally. I just didn't think that what he would bring from the NFL was the cutthroat Turk mentality, in which, you know, players are basically pieces of meat that you can trade on. I didn't know that was going to be brought from the NFL to the A7. That would be the one thing that I thought wouldn't be the first thing that got. But again, I digress, and I'm getting a little too spicy maybe for my own good. But
Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
But what I will say is let's be also true to the audience, and anybody that has any type of thoughts going, you know, pro, semi-pro, whatever, any type of athletics, you also have to be accountable. If I did enough to prove myself, that's why, I apologize. So it is what it is. But if I did enough to prove them wrong, despite, any hidden bias or anything like that, I could have made it undeniable that they would have kept me. And I did my best. And I've in all of the scrimmages that I was in, I felt like I still performed relatively well and was pretty competitive. But, I'm not going to make any excuses for myself. I still got to, earn the right to be an A7FL player. And luckily, I think we'll end the show with this. I'll keep it a little cryptic because there's a lot of conversation about where we're going. There was one guy that thought, because he thought it would make sense, that I went to the U, which I replied, I wish.
That would
They
have been.
said, appreciate you calling, but respectfully, no. But anyway, that's the saga of a 36-year-old quarterback in the A7. So
I mean, I had kind of brought it up with Rob on Sunday because even he kind of, I mean, it made sense in the fact that, I mean, Rob's got your back 100%. Like, the dude speaks nothing but highly of you and everything else like that. So he's just saying if there was a team that basically fit around you,
yeah, well,
it'd be a different story. So if we're looking at basically the want and needs, and I think you've even said it before, the way the game is played, people look at the quarterback a different way. It's, I mean, obviously, like you said, it's their decision, but then again, you really got to look at what you have. Is what you have good enough to be able to be good enough in this league? That remains to be seen for, said team who hasn't really been good at all yet, despite being ran by an NFL player. And you would think that type of success and mindset would flow into the team. But, with this all kind of coming around in circle, I mean, I know where you're going. I mean, again, we're gonna save that for the end here. Um, but again, you didn't have to apologize for shit. We still got your back here no matter what. Don't even fucking worry about it. That again, that threw me off. One, it scared the fuck out of me because there was no goddamn follow-up message.
oh yeah, because I just sorry guys.
And you had me thinking, oh, he just, sorry guys. I'm like, what the fuck did we just get? Like, oh, we're not partnering with you guys anymore. We're not talking with you guys. What just happened?
So
And
sorry
then,
guys.
oh hey, I got cut. In court. Okay, yeah, that it's shitty. But I was over here thinking like, and I don't want to say like it's not worst case scenario, but I was thinking worst case scenario in that point. Because after that I was just like, all right, yeah, that happened. Cool, it's whatever. You know, that doesn't really change anything how we feel. So that it's
Yeah,
fine.
you guys didn't bring me on as a guest because of how good I play it. You noticed me as an announcer, so that hasn't changed. And I don't think it will. I think I'm going to continue to try to do my best as long as I don't slip up and curse on national television.
And national television it is.
International television, actually.
And for those of you who have been living under a rock and haven't seen it, the A7FL has signed a multi-year deal with DAZN.
Sure.
That's big time, man. That's real big time.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's been hard for me, the Tom Holland of the 3-on-1 podcast, to have to basically be tight-lipped about it, because I heard like the whispers in the background for a while, and with the Mike Tomlin mention in the Ben Roethlisberger podcast, and it was this weird Boomer Esiason thing on Mike Tomlin's birthday. The league has been getting a lot of extra, publicity. And with that kind of on the horizon, people were still asking, like, well, where are we going to be able to watch you? Where are we going to be able to watch you? And like, it was hard to say, I think it was even on the show. You guys said that it was on Stadium, and I was
Well,
like,
I had said it before because when I looked at the socials, and it still had said on
right,
demand on Stadium. So I was
right,
like,
right.
oh, okay. So if that's still on the main social, I'm gonna assume that's the case. I know we can see you guys on YouTube. We know we can see A7FL TV. But now DAZN, that's it, we were looking at it going like, man, it's blowing up at an insanely cool. God damn it, Kay. We'll just leave it like this for now. It's blowing up. I would like to say probably at the perfect time.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's almost like it's planned like too perfect. But yeah, absolutely.
just from, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like we should be taking a little bit of credit for promoting it
I
out here. I'm just nor here nor there. Still trying to bring A7FL over here to Sacramento, which is from what we've been hearing going to be happening pretty soon. So we'll figure out a way to be affiliated with that somehow, some way. Um, but it's been really cool to kind of, I guess, live vicariously through you guys because we've been watching it, we've been seeing it, we've been talking to you guys, which has been awesome. So to kind of see it kind of come into fruition, listening, watching, talking with you guys on the show and stuff like that, it's been pretty fucking awesome to see the rise of this league. And again, it's one of those things that we looked at going, and I told Rob about this. I was like, maybe we should stop speaking certain things into fruition because we're getting into certain things at the right time now that it's starting. With A7FL, we were covering Formula One before they started really kind of doing that mainstream. So I was like,
And then
maybe we should stop. But
when you guys started really with San Jose State, all of a sudden they were like good,
yeah.
you know, like no disrespect to them, but like you guys were
No,
like they were good.
that's the All Pro Jaffo rub seems to be working because we started talking about the Kings. Look where the Kings are at now. Like it's just I don't
Uh,
know. I don't
all
know.
all right, all right.
I'm
Look,
just
hey,
saying,
look,
man. There's a
okay,
lot
look,
of
hey,
fucking
hey, I'm gonna just check.
coincidences to this whole thing.
I missed the Rob episode, so I know Rob probably got you into to following those flows. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, man. It all seems too coincidental because, I even told Rob, I don't think ESPN or mainstream is giving us the credit we deserve because all the shit that we talk about, they're talking about a day or two later.
There we go.
So it's just kind of like we're giving a rub. Everybody seems to be taking little sprinkles of it. Teams are getting better. Announcers still don't know what the fuck, minus you guys, still the talking heads on the mainstream still don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but that's on them. They don't know how to interpret what the hell we just said. That's fine. But again, seeing you guys kind of go through this, and I'm sure it's exciting as hell on your guys' end, but from us, like we can sit back and go, yeah, we called it. We called it. Yep.
Yeah.
We knew. We knew it was
If
gonna
I were you
happen.
guys, I would somehow get like the copyright or the trademark on the Olympic version thing because like it's gonna be like a Stephen A or some like snaky guy like that that's gonna be like, there's this league, and it is absolutely the version of football that we are going to bring to the Olympics and international. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, come on. You can't be stealing my
We got
guys'
it on tape.
things.
Multiple episodes, we got it on tape.
Yeah,
You
so I
guys have
mean, and you
mentioned it
talk
on your
directly with David
podcast.
Isaacs. Yeah, you guys like talk directly with David Isaacs about it, so I don't think he's going to let that go,
Yeah.
unmentioned. But I mean, it's crazy. When we did the most recent episode of the 3-on-1, it was the release of our unofficial official top 10, and it was live.
Glorious. That shit was glorious.
Yeah, everybody seems to like
Kay
my
got to
my
see the
my.
whole thing. I was working, but he got to
Oh,
see pretty much the whole thing.
and at 5, I
Mm.
jumped at 5 because I was working.
Okay.
Right as he announced the Immortals, and when I tell you the best part to me was, I don't know the guy. I know you know the guy with the ponytail, long hair, dark hair. He was the Detroit Lions fan.
Yes, that's Derek Duncan. Yep.
That was, all right. So Josh, you were right.
That
I got so fucking mad at the Nightcrawlers, bro.
He gets look, he gets mad and he's actually the host of the Other Side of the Ball podcast, the West Coast podcast. He's also the owner of the Nevada division, and then he went in to be a part owner of the LA division with David Meltzer, the guy who Jerry Maguire is based off of, that guy's life, and business partners with Warren Moon. So like, you know, A7FL is like, there's names here.
Yeah.
But Derek, he has this thing where he feels
not
like the
not
force.
that Dave Meltzer, Mav, not that Dave Meltzer. Different David Meltzer.
Yeah,
He's
I
putting in
don't
the
know which
private
David
tab.
Meltzer. I've only ever heard of the name. That's one dude that even, you know, was as I talked to Shunner, who is basically the owner of the league, but that's the one guy I've never had a conversation with is David Meltzer. I think he's busy, is what we'll say.
I'll say the least, probably.
His time, I'm sure, is too valuable to be wasting 30 minutes of one breath with me. But the Force is the team from the Vegas division that and the West that won last year.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got into the playoffs, they beat the Snow Tribe. And Derek was really awesome on social media leading up to that game, because the actual day of the week apparently ended up being International Donut Day. And Derek Duncan, as the owner of the A7FL Nevada, in the lead up to their match with the Snow Tribe, he celebrated International Donut Day with the Snow Tribe, who had 3 donuts on the season, the worst being to BIC, where it was 80-0. And it was a picture of their schedule was the post in which they showed all of the blowouts and the losses and the nothings.
Oh,
And
trolling at its finest.
It was one of the greatest trolls in the history of the A7, I will absolutely say. But they got really, really confident with the win over the Snow Tribe. And like I said, last year they beat the 0-6 Animals twice to get 2 wins. And then they beat the Covington Heights from Ohio, which only had 1 win on the season, to get their 3rd win. So their 3-4 record that ended up 3-5 was a little bit of a. It was like a little bit of like smoke and mirrors to make it look like that. There was teams that had a similar record that beat 3 like legitimate teams, and different. They played different teams, and you know, lumped in kind of with the Snow Tribe team that didn't have a quarterback. Made like a gimmick offense where they thought they were like doing something when they were just running a 1910 student body right shit, or it was like Wildcat. But anyway, they beat the Vegas Force, beat them, and then the next week they played BIC, and we all saw what happened. So what Derek's been saying is that all off season the Force have been getting better and working and doing all the right things, which is good, and I think we regard the Force relatively highly. Although, to be fair, the Vegas teams put on a fall. The Force didn't play; they dipped out on competition, and the Vegas division does this thing every year. The week before the season starts, they kind of have like a preseason scrimmage in which all the teams play 2 drives against each other. They call it a jamboree. And the Force, again, they dipped out on competition there. So I don't know if they're just trying to keep secrets or what. But where we had them in the offseason, we said that they were the number 5 team. They lost their MVP running back. His name is Anthony Wilkerson. And they call him RTC, which is the bus system out there, the RTC. So RTC left, and he's the probably the best player on their roster. So we dropped them from 5 to 6. And,
I feel like that's fair. That's not unreasonable.
Well, and the team that we put in 5 was another Vegas team that got that guy, got the fall MVP quarterback. And they got a whole bunch of other players that are like going to make the super team. And in the fall jamboree that happened like 3 days before we taped, they beat all of the other teams in a combined by 36 points in those scrimmages. So they pretty good, and we put them at 5 in the entire league. Now, mind you, we never even gave Vegas the respect of even a sniff of 2 teams. And in the top 12, we considered 4 teams and put 3 teams in. So we thought we were doing them justice. But when we got to 3 and it was the Florida team, Derek got pissed because we assumed this and assumed that, and you guys are hating on the Force, but in reality, the reason we like the Florida team is because of their quarterback, and their quarterback is the number 1 nationally ranked flag player in the country. His name is Mark Bagway, and I heard a ridiculous.
You like to call him
rumor.
Mark Winway.
Exactly. So you guys are fans of the show.
Oh yeah.
Which I know. I'm just joking, but yeah. So Mark Bagway used to be about the bag. If he's about the win and he's Mark Winway, then we're in trouble as a league. But like, this team is going to potentially be loaded, and we don't know until we see the registration. But like, I heard a rumor from a dude, right? And this is what the dude says to me. He goes like this. This is one of the funniest conversations I think I ever had. He goes like this to me. He goes, "Are you aware of the New York Giants?" And then I'm like, well, of course I'm aware that they exist and that they're a thing. Like, is he like asking me if I know management or like coaches or like, like team staff? So my answer was, yeah, why? And he says, well, we got Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie on the squad. And I was like, I didn't say anything because, like guys cap all the time, like the kids say, right? There's a lot of cap out there. So I don't know. But if we see him on the roster, what? I'll text you guys. I'll be like, it was true. Because the attention that we're getting from
I was going to say, where did you meet this person? Some alley down there in New Jersey? Or
this guy that told me that is actually the guy that told me when the Nightcrawlers first started playing well. They were 2-3, and he called me up and he said, "Oh, yo, we got this quarterback. We're gonna compete with BIC." And I was like, okay, cool, man, thanks. And I was like, yeah, right. You guys are 2-3. Like, take care of your division first. He told me that, and he wasn't lying the first time. I didn't believe him, and I still don't believe him. Let's be fair. But if it is true, it's a cool rumor. But if he shows up, because the Florida division has 1 more week to register. If he shows up in registration, what? We got NFL dudes coming on. Let's go.
that would be very wild.
Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. Can't do it.
That would be very wild if that ended up happening, to be completely honest. And speaking of top 10s, we're gonna ask you first. We got 2 top 5s for you.
Yeah, but
the first one, and actually, we got a little animations and stuff like that in here for our top 5. Corey Hammond, your top 5 moments as a commentator in the A7FL. What do we got at number 5? Number
5. Number 5. I'm gonna struggle with putting these in the perfect order, because I'm gonna be honest with you. With the commentary, it's a lot more of a blur than like as a player. Like as a commentator, what you're doing is you're watching, you're intaking the game, and then watching, regurgitating. So sometimes you miss stuff. I would say, let me say my top 5. My top 5 moment would be, let me just start with this. My first ever game, calling a game. I come into the booth with LJ Smith. I can't even tell you who the teams were. I'm pretty sure it was the Rebels versus a team like the U or something. And, I just got in there. I just started, and I can't remember not one part of it, because it just, what happened was I got in the thing. we were just on YouTube, so it was perfect form for me. There were no like commercials or anything. It's almost like they were like, "Yeah, you got to fill time," and I was like, "You got your man." Um, but that first game with LJ, it was, kind of special. And like I said, the pastime that we all share might hinder some of the specifics of that. But I will say that I'm pretty sure it was the Rebels and the U. It was a blowout, so that me and LJ got to talk and really get off the rails. And it was just a natural fit. And then since then, I was like, yeah, man, this is really cool. This is really fun.
Yeah.
I love playing, but if I'm not playing, like I would really enjoy doing this, because once I started announcing the games, I really started to become more of a member of the full league and not
Mm.
just a member of my team. And then I got into a lot more of the in-depth conversations with some of the competition and some of the guys that were almost like enemies during those player years. Some of those guys are some of my closest friends now. So, it's I'd say my top 5 moment would be that year. I think it was 2016. Um, was the first time I ever called a game, and now I didn't do it like every single week after that because I was still playing a lot. But
But
Ryan,
it got your foot in the door, at
yeah,
least.
and then Ryan like always figured like, hey, you want to do it, and then I was pretty much always down.
There we go. So number 5 being the very first time Corey Hammond stepped behind the microphone and called a game. Number 4.
Now I don't know if this counts as commentary, but I am gonna count it. I'm gonna say the first episode we ever did of the podcast. Matt had pitched the idea to us. I think we actually have to give credit to Derek Duncan, because he was really the one who was pushing for like a show for the A7FL that he could point to, and the podcast is kind of like an easy way to get that in the door without a lot of production value and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So the conversation was like, hey, these 3 guys, when we're doing games, they have a rapport. Let's see if we can make this work. And me, Matt, and Rob had always been, we're not close to the point where we're hanging out with each other every weekend.
Mm.
But even then we were cool and we were friends, but we weren't like close. Like we didn't talk all the time. We saw each other on Sundays when we were calling games, and sometimes I would even be missing from the booth, or Rob would be missing from the booth, or whatever. So it wasn't like this team yet as it is now. But the first ever episode, Matt was just started recording. We started going, and it wasn't ever supposed to air. It was just going to be like this test. It was a pilot.
Mm.
And the first joke we really ever did is Matt was talking. He always says that he wants a solid gold boat. And when my dumbass said, "And what type of pirate ship do you want on that boat?" And he said a funny joke, and he said, "Oh, I think it's going to be David Isaacs with a sword, holding a football with a sword in his mouth." And then I was like, well, it would be safe to say you're not going to do a spider because of how bad the Nightcrawlers lost in that Elite 8 game to the Rare Breed, in which they were up by. And then they go, "Oh, Corey, ah." And then it was just like, we're off and running. Like, that's the whole show, is that. And I think, that it was a Tuesday night. It was more recent, so I remember it. It was a Tuesday night. We started doing it. We started talking, and by the end of it, we were like, "Holy shit! We just filled up an hour and a half, and we didn't even try."
I mean, it happens. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Country K and Matt Sticks and myself. When we first started doing this thing, it was, Kay had experience doing his own podcast before. It'd been my experience at KJCC over there at San Jose City, and Mad Sticks being, the DJ. There were elements that were put together. We didn't know what was going to come out of it. And here we are, 190 episodes going on, 3+ years now of talking to countless people and stuff. You just find that rhythm and you go. And to be honest, after hearing basically every episode that you guys have done, you could have fooled me. It really does seem like you guys have been tight knit. The way Rob talks about you, the way you look at talking about Matt, the way you both talk about Matt, the way you guys kind of get everything together, you would think that you guys have been doing this with each other for 10 plus years, or that you at least known each other and hung out with each other all the time for that period of time.
Well, what's interesting is me and Rob have the relationship that goes back to when I originally was playing against BIC, and they had kind of noticed me as like, oh, it's funny if you watch one of those old films, there's actually a part where they're like, and look at him, and he gets rocked, and he throws a dime, like it's funny because they noticed me in that first game, and what's even funnier is when you watch that game, the first throw, I threw a hook and the guy just took off instead of running the hook and turning around. So it was a pick six on the first throw of the game. And I ended that game with 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. And we lost by 2 scores because the other running back had 11 carries and 9 touchdowns. So and that was my rookie year. And it was Rob's, I think it was Rob's second or third year in the league, but we go back really a long time. And then we also had the 2 full seasons in which we played on the same roster together. Rob was instrumental actually in bringing me in. I think we'll talk about some of those moments in the next top 5. But yeah, man, that number 4 moment, that first ever podcast, it's funny because I try to just just like anything in life, I try to approach it almost like football. In what I do, as this is now a profession for me, I try to, look at what other guys are doing that are successful. A lot of the things that I get, I honestly, I pull from, what I've learned from comedians over the years to try to be funny. And, it's funny because a lot of things that you're good at will obviously take work, but I talk about it all the time. Like it really took little work for the 3 of us to just build that chemistry where you will listen to our podcast, and if somebody doesn't know that much about our league, yeah, sure, they're going to be lost about some of the stuff, but I feel like most people would still find themselves laughing at the energy and the camaraderie and just kind of the fun that we're having. So like you said, it's like we've been together for 20 years and we do have history, but for us to be all relatively novice, except for Matt, at doing the broadcasting thing, and for it to be something that's not, I don't think we've ever had a level of being awkward at all, unless it was, planned. But I think that was probably, I'll say that's my 4th favorite broadcasting moment.
Nice. So number 4, the first time the 3-on-1 podcast becomes a sensation, we'll say. Number 3. But by the way, real quick before we move into number 3, Kay, I don't know if he can hear me right now because his thing is looping. That's his voice that's distorted and doing the number. I shit you not, when he first sent that to me, I could not help it. I started dying because I can just literally picture him going number 3 and then putting it distorted and I couldn't help but just start dying the first time I heard it. But neither here nor there.
It's funny because everybody has that announcer voice that they go to. And me and Matt even do it on our podcast. I don't know if you guys know who Tony Bruno is, the radio host. It's Tony Bruno. And you're listening to LA Kiss FM on 90 whatever and another number 0.7, right?
At least the
And so
radio voice is familiar.
I do that. Well, he's also the voice of, I think, Madden. It was like Madden 08 or something. I don't remember what year it was, but there was a Madden where obviously they had the music, but in like a dynasty mode or whatever, there would be this announcer talking about like the things that the players were doing based on the stats on the season. So it'd be like, and this guy. And back then it was like different quarterbacks. So I'd be like, and Trent Dilfer, not doing too great for the Bears because and it was like, the computer putting it together. But that's Tony Bruno. And then Matt will do the Harry Carey. Well, hi, that's Harry Carey. And so it's funny when we do our announcer voices. But yeah, so number 3. Now it's hard to put these in order. So
It doesn't have to be in any particular
I think
order,
I
but
think I got the I think I got the number 1. So what I'm gonna say is number 2 is the
number 3.
yes, I'm sorry, number 3. See, I'm thinking like, which one's number 2? So number 3, I think, is going to be the 2019 championship. It was the U versus the Immortals. It was a great game, and it was the first time I really was like the color guy, like the only. In 2017, they hired like an outside crew, and I looked at them. I'm like, I could do better than them. And then in 2018, I was doing a lot of it, but it ended up being it was in Maryland, so they didn't I didn't go down there for that championship specifically. But in 2019, me and Matt, it was the first time I ever called a game with Matt. We called the championship, and we were sitting in the food stand at the Roselle Rams Pop Warner Field, calling the game, basically looking at it through the monitor, but we could like look through, like just like that. Like we would look through the window where the food would normally be served, and we could see the game. And the defensive player of the year last year, Isaac Negron, was there. He was a DJ. He made them hire them so that he could play music, and there was a cookout and all this thing. But it was the first real legitimate, like, I'm the guy, Matt's the guy, and this is the announce team. And in the 2020 Salas tournament, it was a little bit different. Things got a little bit mixed up because Matt wasn't there. It was Jack and LJ, but I was pretty much on the field the whole time, so it didn't pick up for me until 2021. But that championship game was also a really good game, and it was kind of like the first time really meeting Matt. And it's funny because when you're at this level of football, you don't realize there's two things that can happen. There's dudes that think they're too much of a celebrity, and then dudes that think that there's nothing special about them at all. And then when they come in contact with somebody that's watched them on TV play football, they're kind of like, oh shit, like that's you. And you're like, really? Awesome, thanks. So when I met Matt, like I think it wasn't like that he was like starstruck. Obviously, I'm not that big of a deal, but he had a lot of respect for me inherently just because I do this. And he knew that I was in the league and that I played, and he's seen me play, and he'd seen some of the things that, like, some of the dudes that have hit me, and it was like an immediate respect. And it was pretty cool. Like, you walk into a booth and you're just kind of like a humble guy. Like, I don't know what I do with any of these wires and shit. And Matt's always involved in the technical part of it. So like in between, like being like your cool co-host, he's also like the stressed out, like needs a cigarette fucking executive producer, right? Like, and I think it's always so funny, like the that he has to mix both personalities, and he does it seamlessly. But that first game that me and him called together, it was not only a really good game with really good football, but again, it was like almost like a natural chemistry. I always loved LJ Smith, who was the original announcer, but he kind of had his own little rhythm, and he had worked basically the entire his entire career as announcer by himself. So he was both play-by-play and color, so he didn't know where he really fit. So when me and him were in a booth, it would get chaotic. When me and Matt were in a booth, he would bring the energy. You've heard his calls, and they've gotten better, but he still had that. It was just at first people were like, "Oh my god, like tone it down." It's like, nah, don't tone it down. Like do the whole
that
bit.
shit going, yeah.
Yeah. So, but they were used to a different way. So whenever you get a difference, it's especially when it's that much energy. At first, it you jump back a little bit, but that first game we had like an immediate chemistry as well, and it's and since it's just been like me and Matt are cool. So that's why, like, when we did the podcast, we had that history. Me and Rob had that history. Rob and Matt called a bunch of games by themselves last year when I was playing. So that kind of fed into that. So that would be my number 3.
Sweet. Number 3. And then number 2.
Number 2.
So I'm going to bring it back to the field. Like I said, calling these games, all these great moments, it's kind of bittersweet, to be honest, right? So when I'm calling a championship, I full well know that I didn't do that. I'm watching the guys who are able to do that, and I'm either comparing myself and saying, oh, I could, and, or I'm looking at them like, damn, I really have to work to get on that level, especially with the guys that are on the team around me and shit. But I will say the Vegas Fall Championship this year sticks out to me as a game where I was out in Vegas to do something for our league, so there was just like a specialness to that. The atmosphere in that really cool stadium, Anderson Automotive Arena in Arizona, Bullhead, Arizona. There was a really cool energy there. It was a really great atmosphere. It looked as professional as the A7, I think, has looked, especially in the other states. But, our field that we play on in Asbury Park, it's actually a really beautiful, view. There's the bay, there's all that. But it is an open high school stadium, and the wind there, makes my Chad Pennington throws sometimes not on target. So I have like a disdain for that place a little bit. Specific throws I can even pinpoint. And I'm like, God damn it, if it wasn't windy, that one throw. But that game and the craziness of that game, because it was such a back and forth, it ended up being 43-40. There were 5 3-on-1 returns for touchdowns. There was a situation where the one team returned to 3-on-1, and then the other team answered with their own 3-on-1 return. And there was this one touchdown in which the quarterback rolled out. Defensive end swatted the ball as he was running, so it looked like he bounced the football on the ground on purpose, like it was a crossover. Is the joke that I made. He caught that after it bounced off of the ground, looked down the field, and threw a touchdown pass on the same play. Like there was such craziness in this game, and the energy level of the fans, the players, and the announce team, and the fact that I had literally gotten to go to Vegas for this league, honestly, that sticks out as one of the top moments for me, honestly.
I mean, they essentially, you're like an ambassador, for the league, from the East Coast and everything else, like from the New Jersey side of everything where everything originated. So yeah, like I can see where they use you in different ways other than just, being on the announce team and stuff like that. That's pretty damn cool. They trust you. I don't know how much of that is a mistake and how much of that is on good terms, but I mean, they trust you, and that at least for us, that's good enough to hear from us. Number 1.
Number 1.
And to be fair, in such a short amount of time and as many moments as I probably could have picked from, and the fact that at 9:47, I was picking my son up from teen night. So I didn't necessarily get to comb it, but I thought the only way to really top this off and really be Corey Hammond about it would to say that the number 1 moment as a announcer, commentator, personality was in episode 6 of the 3-on-1, the roast of Corey Hammond. It was my idea, number 1. Number 2, I was saying that people could have my jersey as a prize. So part of the joke is that nobody wanted the jerseys, right? It was both absolutely hilarious, but also like it like almost like hurt at times. Like damn, But the fact that people cared enough about me to even know some of the specifics of my game. And the way that my wife was involved is an absolute savage, destroying me. And even that you guys, like got involved, and the way that it worked out, and how funny the bit ended up being. And you know, I I learned a lot from 8 Mile, um, about the art of debate, right? And there's no better debaters than battle rappers. And what I found is that if you take the ammunition away from people, they have less to say about you. So it was kind of embracing that whole idea,
You took the
getting
B
the
Rabbit course.
getting the backlash of it, and then really as a quarterback, your job is also to take the criticism for your team. The reason the Jets hate they hate Zach Wilson is not because of how poorly he played against the Patriots that day. It's how poorly he spoke afterwards, right? You know, dudes say the right thing, do the right thing all the time, and don't get a lot of credit for it. But I think, part of that roast was basically a lesson to the league that, even the guy that's talking all the time about how he would do this or why you should do better. And if I'm going to be critical of the entire league at times, why wouldn't I allow for the league as a whole to get me first, so that anything that I say is fair game, because, I'm putting myself out there on the, on the chopping block as well. And that's why I like being part of a roster and playing, so that I can hold myself accountable, that if, I'm out there and I'm playing, at least I can, talk shit, because I'll be out there to answer for it.
It's true. That's true.
So the
I
number
mean, yeah,
one moment is all about me.
well, I mean, hearing that episode, I mean, it was just a fun episode all around. I still think your wife had the best jokes.
Yeah, she didn't want the jerseys though, so she couldn't be the winner.
I mean, she's she's like, you can keep those, but I'll take the roasting and be fine with that. It's the award. But I mean, everyone was having a good time. Everyone was getting in on it. Uh, I don't think I've heard Matt laugh so much on one episode, like to the point where it sounded like he was just out of air to be able to laugh. It was a hilarious episode that I will admit I probably have listened to maybe 3 or 4 times. Yeah, at this point, it's good shit. If you guys if anybody hasn't seen it or heard it, go
Yeah,
check. I mean,
imagine if
after this, obviously, but yes.
now back then we didn't do video. Imagine if that was on video. My God.
Oh Lord, there could have been your wife's jokes would have gone viral. That would have been one.
Oh,
God, there was one. I think it was. I'd have to go back and hear it again.
there's a few. The ones that I felt like were the best were I liked the one where you got an arm like Chad Pennington with a broken clavicle, because that's very inside football. It's very it knows that like my arm strength isn't like elite. This year I actually built up a lot of core and upper body strength, so I actually am throwing the ball a little bit more like closer to where my prime was. But that one was a good one. The other one is how do you look like a professional athlete and an overweight gym teacher at the same time? And that was fair. And one of the motivations to get me to lose some weight. My wife's laughing. She hates all of my podcasts except for when they make fun of me. I'm coming over to her right now. And then my wife's ones were savage, which is
she went for the jugular big time.
Baby, what was the one that I wrote? If Corey Hammond's legs ran as fast as his mouth did, he wouldn't have got cut from so many teams. That one was actually by far the best. And then she said the one that was Matt's favorite is Corey Hammond needs a chip ring like his wife needs a Nuva ring or something. Yeah, that one was elite. Yeah, chip ring. Yeah. So that one was elite.
All
Elite.
timer. That's Hall of Fame. That's Hall of Fame status right there.
Like I said, like she just didn't want the jersey, so she didn't win. There is no one that makes fun of me better than my wife, likely.
Probably.
But the winner I think the winner was the one that said that Corey Hammond has a gray hair on his head for every team that's cut him in the A7FL.
Yep.
And as Country K saw on the most recent episode, I did a bit to kind of control the narrative so that I was, I made it, that they're the clowns, and I made it a clown thing. But I got cut by 3 teams that night, which isn't true, but it was funny. So I got a lot of gray hair and a lot of hair apparently. Because
I was about to say the last time we saw you, it's growing out a little bit.
It's funny. I was watching film. I was watching film on one of the teams that I was supposed to be playing because I've been switching teams back and forth so many times. And I saw myself commentating and I looked at my face and I was like, oh my God, I was that big? Like I was looking a little swole on my arms and shit, but like I was looking at my face like, oh my God, my face is wide. But now I have all these bags under my eyes. So maybe all that little extra chub like made my skin and like everything, whatever. But I don't want to get into another tangent. Country K's already muted because
he's already checked out. I think he might be handling something off screen. But yeah,
no, I got you. I'm just joking.
I'm trying to figure out my tech. My tech is making me want to put on the 16 ounces. I'm just saying.
We got the A7FL schedule March 26th coming up. We're excited for it. I'm not gonna lie, when you first told me, I was like, oh, okay, then he kind of, I mean, it was all right. He avoids playing the U, I guess. And then I went a little bit farther down into the schedule and realized I think we can be so that I can say at least this one. I think we can announce your breaking news of where yes, the team.
Well, this will be interesting to see how many of our players in the league are watching us on the All Pro JAFFOs, because let's be honest, we try to get as much news as possible, and I was trying to cloak and dagger this as much as possible, but since we're running out of time, with both the episode and our announcement here, I'm just going to say this. If you really want to know where I'm going, then you should just tune in on Sunday, just see where I line up. And if you can't figure out by now, I don't know what to tell you. So,
yep.
Holy fucking shit. I'm not going to say it, but I just figured it out. He didn't tell me a goddamn thing. I'm going to just holy shit. Holy shit. No.
Giving up to Boston.
I mean, listen, I grew up as a sports fan. I wouldn't say that I had a lot of teams, right? I grew up a Dolphin fan, but I was a Dan Marino fan. And then when Dan Marino's career went the way that it did, by the way, this is my Coach Corey hat in commemorating the championship that I'm involved in, which is as a coach for my son. Not any chip
not as an actual player.
But I rooted I think this move kind of fits my fandom, especially for this team that is above me, because growing up in the mid 90s, early 2000s in New Jersey, in central New Jersey too, so it wasn't like South Jersey where it's kind of like Philly. Central New Jersey is right where Staten Island tucks in, so everybody was a friggin' stupid ass Yankees fan. And my dad actually grew up in Palo Alto. I mean,
really?
everybody listen, the Yankees won literally like every championship those years, or they were involved in them. So
Back in the
like it's
20s and
hard not
30s.
to be a fan of a team that's that successful. And like they had like the guys like Derek Jeter, and if you didn't like Jeter, it was Tino Martinez or whatever it was, you know.
A little something for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, good for them. But I was always like anti-establishment, you know, like rebel. You know, like my favorite Boston team is probably the idiots that are the won the first World Series, the 2004 team. But I didn't identify with the guys that, even though there's a picture of me back in my days where I had an orange FUBU 05 shirt and a yellow orange Yankee hat to complete the ensemble when I was in 5th grade. That was special. That was certainly special. And I did know what the FUBU stands for. Don't get it twisted. And that shit was huge on me. It was the 05 jersey. Everybody
I
knows
can
those.
tell. I can already have the visual right now.
And
Almost
it
like
was
a young Mark
it was like
Wahlberg out there.
it was
Funky
the black
Bunch.
I had the black jean shorts that are like down to your ankles type of thing. Like you already know. And you already should know that I'm never gonna say that clown shit ever again.
Yeah, that's why we deleted it off the soundbite.
And I appreciate it, but it's funny. Kenny Stansbury, the guy that runs BIC, he said that was his favorite quote of all time from any time I've ever spoken, even in private.
It's
But
end
yeah,
of an
man,
era, I guess.
I think looking at it, you know, I really am the underdog, right? I'm too old. I'm too slow. I just got cut. You know, there's all these reasons why Corey Hammond is the guy that everybody knows. Everybody literally asks where I'm playing. You know, win or lose, if I play like shit or I throw for 500 yards, people talk about my performance. So, you know, I think no better way to kind of, you know, christen the league with a great market, you know, in Boston. And, you know, I'm going to try to do, you know, I'm going to do my best to represent myself and a sports town that I have a lot of affinity for.
And you're going up against the Silk City Animals,
The
who
Huffamals.
the
Yeah. So
I'm like, damn. I'm like, well, he had a test with Patterson U. Now he's got a test with Huff on the other side. I mean,
well,
the only thing.
Huff said he's going to be playing a little bit of defense, so we'll see how that goes.
Are you going to be playing a little bit of defense?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I bring a lot to the table defensively. I tell people, like, one of the hardest hits I ever took.
That should be the game. You and Huff should go Iron Man mode.
Yeah.
And the
You
whole
know how
time.
that
Face
would
each
go,
other the whole
honestly.
time.
Let's be fair.
Oh, don't be like that. If I had a rock, I'll bust your head, bitch.
Yeah. If it was a one-on-one quarterback, somehow football one-on-one situation, basically I'd have no one to throw it to, so I'd have to run. And we all know that Huff is going to juke the shit out of me and get past me, and then also that he could catch me even if I somehow was able to avoid a tackle. So that would a one-on-one against Huff for me is definitely not going to work out. But you know, I'm going to do my thing, and then we're going to see what it is.
Hey, so can I say this? I don't want you to evaluate our relationship here, Corey, because that was a fucked up scenario. I don't want you to evaluate our relationship based off of what he just said right there. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't put you in that scenario against us. Come on, man. You go.
Yeah. Well, remember when I was loosely recruiting you to the team that I just got cut from, and then he was trying to get you on the team that was playing me week 1, and I was like,
yeah,
Jay, man, I know I derail your show basically weekly during the college football season and borderline say shit that could get you in trouble, but come on, man.
Borderline, but hey, it's not fair. I'm going to tell you right now, Corey, I think we've probably said worse than you have ever had on this show. Honestly. Like
I can guarantee as well that I almost said worse things, and
I would say you have said some things that are.
I mean,
the last time we talked to you, that Deshaun Watson joke had. Oh God, I had to go back and hear it a couple more times. That was like.
I mean, that's just low hanging fruit at that point, or something's
it was low hanging, but you knocked that fucker out of the park. That shit was hilarious.
But that first episode, I don't know if you guys remember, I talked about the Catholic Church I was tiptoeing around performance enhancing drugs. It was a tough one. It was a tough one. I recovered well. I think I've done better.
We need to get a little highlight video or whatever of best of Corey Hammond shit talking on this show.
Keeping receipts. That's what we're calling it on A7.
I mean, obviously it's a big week for the A7FL opening up, signing with DAZN, being a player, and we can run through this real quick. We don't need to
Yeah,
have
I'll do it. I'll do it much quicker here. Yeah.
we'll do a little, but the top 5 as a player. What have been your top 5 moments as a player?
All right. So number 5, I'll say, kind of keeping in line with
Number 5.
Oh, did you hit it? I think you did.
keeping in line with the way that I kind of set up the last top 5. My first ever pass in the A7FL was to this kid, and I never really even got his name because back then we barely even practiced. I showed up week 1. This was my team. They had tight press coverage, play action, sent the guy up top. My first ever pass in the A7FL for SBF, the Super Best Friends, was a touchdown pass, and it was to this skinny white receiver. He was fast. He had one of those like fake names. It was like Stimmy or some stupid thing. And his real name was Jason, but I remember, I'm pretty sure his name was Jason, but I remember we were playing the Chiefs, and the Chiefs were, they're one of the top, higher level teams. They won a championship. Not at this point, but they eventually won a championship. But I didn't know any better. I was just a rookie. And I go up top, and my wife's like, it's 12 o'clock. Not for them. It's not. They're 3 hours behind. So I go up top, first play of my career for a touchdown. And I was like, yes. I was wearing a number 27 jersey. The guy's name was Deli because he's always open. And first I had a beanie on. It's not in the highlights of some of the highlights are from that game are in it. But they had not even set up the camera yet. It was the first play of the game, so
we couldn't get beanie Corey Hammond, rookie beanie Corey Hammond with the 2-7.
all brown hair too, all brown hair. So that was my number 5 moment.
Number 4. You hit it.
Number 4.
So I'm gonna say my number 4 moment was in my first full season with the East Orange Renegades. Actually, really my only full season with them. I missed the first week because I missed week 1 of that season because my wife, and this was the year after COVID, but we had avoided 2020. We never got it. But in 2021, my wife, the week of my birthday, she got COVID. And so I was trying to do the right thing. So week 1, we lost. And I missed because obviously I was a potential spreader or whatever.
Right.
And I scheduled my vaccine for that next Saturday. And then the next day, we were playing the week 2 game. And we were playing the Animals. So I was taking care of my wife that whole week, wearing masks and, taking care of the kids. And she was sequestered in the bedroom, all that shit. All that shit. And the kids, I had a baby, so I'm like taking care of the baby and his, runny ass nose and whatever. And then I got the fever, the first ever symptom, the Friday night. Hours before I'm supposed to get so it's actually better that I got the symptoms, because if I got the vaccine, I don't know how it affects you when you're actually sick.
Well, I was about to say that you would have been playing Sunday. You'd have been fucked up for the game.
Well, I did play Sunday.
Oh, you did play Sunday.
With 103.2 fever, I threw for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I don't
Georgia
have a
had the
flu
flu
game.
game. Corey had the COVID game.
I don't have a flu game. I have a COVID game. So the number
Jesus
4
Christ,
moment.
Corey.
I didn't. And look, if you watch that film, it's 2021. Renegades, Animals, and the Animals actually the week 1 they actually had a tough game and they almost won. So this isn't the 0-6 Animals. Like this was a legit team. And yeah, I threw for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns with 103 fever. I have a COVID mask on the whole game too. But I didn't tell anybody that story until like everything cleared and like COVID wasn't like this thing that everybody was really afraid of. But I feel like in 2023 I can tell that story now and not get
I was about to
canceled.
say, if you would have told that story then, people would have came after you.
Oh, I would have got canceled. I
Yeah.
told my team what it was, right? I told my team just so that they felt comfortable with it, and none of them gave a shit. Like they literally said, "Yo, come, we gotta win." They'd never won a game before. That was their first ever win in the organization's history.
I don't care if all of us get it. We need this fucking win.
I mean, Country K would attest to, when you play on a team and you're serious about it, that's how it goes. I mean,
Yep. No, that's really fair.
Hey,
Arm
fair,
gets
'cause
ripped off by a fucking combine.
I've definitely been on a 1-9 team before.
I've been on an 0-10 team. Another feeling.
Man, I couldn't take that. At least I won.
No, I've been on the 0-10. It was JV, so not a lot of people in the stands who really gave a shit about what was happening. So
in your defense, you was probably in California about 4 or 5 years. So you really didn't. Nah, that's your fault.
I wasn't aware of California standard football at that time.
if you guys are wondering,
his high school was terrible, and they were like allergic to winning.
Yeah,
so that's what we're talking about right now. Yeah.
Number 3.
Not in 2009, Maverick. We went 7-3.
Yeah, my wife is throwing. Look at her.
I was say, she's throwing things at you. Let's get the
she's
third
throwing
one
shit
in.
at me.
Hey, she
We're
said
counting
you
down. 3, 2, 1.
You gonna turn the tight end.
Hurry the fuck up with your 3.
So my number 3 moment in honor of my wife, because I again with the limited amount of time, I think I could do a better job. But here goes. There was a game in which and the reason this is number 3 for me is because it's my wife's favorite moment of my career, which is funny.
Why do I have a feeling something really bad is about to happen right now?
No, it's not a joke. It's just the way that it's funny that, the way that she enjoys my, as a fan, she enjoys like my games is she enjoys when I run a lot more than when I pass. And obviously she's been a little disappointed for most of my career. But we were playing, when I was on the Warriors, this was in 2016. The Chiefs actually went on to go to the championship this year. They lost to BIC that year, but they went to the championship. And in the year that I played them, we were outmatched. Now we scored 21, but they scored like 60. Like every single time they had the ball, they scored easily. So, at a certain point in the game, they weren't like 100% locked in. But anytime teams play me, because I'm really the only drop back passer, guys are trying to kill me. They want to kill me. This is their best chance to
That's
tee off.
evident in your highlight tape.
Yeah. Well, it's their best chance to tee off on a quarterback that's a stationary target. Most of the guys that play quarterback in this league, they're runny guys. So that's annoying, right? As Country K, if you got a guy that he's going to be there, you're just trying to destroy him like he's like a pad. You know what I mean? Like in a drill, you're just like, oh, he's gonna be there, and then you like lower your head, you put your shoulder, and you just do the wow. So that's how I faced my career. When I was playing the Chiefs, we were on the 35-yard line, and a dude was cheating on the right. He was on the defense's left, my right, and he rushed, but he rushed through the B gap, not the C gap, right?
Mm.
Now it's kind of the A gap because there's only 3 offensive linemen, but you get what I'm talking about. He went
right
inside. He gave the edge up, and it was so obvious that he actually lined up like that. So I had trips to the other side. So there was nobody else out there. And again, this was in 2016. So I was a little bit more athletic. So I was just like, yo, if you're going to give me 6 yards, I'm going to take them. So I said, set, go, and immediately took off and ate up that edge and then cut up field. I got to about yards. What happened?
No, I don't know what happened there, but you're in.
All right. I got to about 18 yards, and then 2 dudes went to tackle me. And this is when I'm in the red jersey, number 6. And then they go to tackle me, and then I just kind of like lower my shoulder, tuck the ball, and just run through them. And then I ended up having the 65-yard touchdown run, the longest of my career. And I scored like I've done it before, right? Like it's always like act like you've been there before. Never happened before ever. But I score, and then I just turn around and I go 2, like we're going for 2. Like I was acting like it wasn't even that big of a deal. My wife loves that because she's like, look at you running, like you're actually athletic, like you're good at football. So that's my number 3 moment.
She's giving you shit for making an athletic accomplishment and on how goofy you look during that athletic accomplishment.
No,
That's
she didn't.
awesome.
She wasn't upset with the goofiness of it. She actually appreciated my athleticism for the first time because I actually had to move my legs. So that's, I think, where she was going. But that I'm gonna say that that's my number 3 moment. Just because she's always said, like, you know, she's always acted as if she's been impressed with me because of that one. So even though it's not my favorite moment, it's hers. And a lot of times, you know, happy wife, happy life.
That works.
You know,
I know the feeling.
amen.
Number 2.
Number 2.
So number 2, there's a little bit to it. In my year with the Renegades, because the other thing that was hard about this is like some of my most memorable moments are the moments that like drive me to keep like trying to prove myself. So they're not all like sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of like, you know, I remember early in my career, I was in like a triple overtime game in Maryland, and I told my wide receiver to run a post corner. And he was always great with the double moves. I rolled out away from the rush. He went to the post, and when he planted, I threw it to the corner, and I felt like I threw a pretty good ball. I was on target all day that day, and he slipped on the move, the double move, and you know, he's on the ground, and then it was an interception, and then the guy brought it back. And that was the way the game ended. So like that is a memory, right? That sticks out to me, and I vividly remember everything about that play. And that was like in 2015 or 14. Yeah, it was 2014. But
Early
that's not a
on.
good memory, right? I have a
Not a great
lot of
memory,
memories
no.
like that. But for the number 2 memory, I was in 2021, the year that I talked about with my number 4, with the COVID game. The Renegades had 0 expectations, and we ended up being one of those teams that was, you know, the top of the mid tier. Nobody really wanted to play us, and we had this one game against BIC. Now you guys know BIC as the defending champions, and in 2021 we had a game against them in which after the 3rd quarter, pretty much the same roster. After the 3rd quarter, we were up 18-12. Sorry. This is just, you know, it's 12 o'clock here, but, you know, my kids are just walking around. Love you, Brady, by the way. We're wearing this hat, and the team I'm playing for, and my son's name is Braden. We call him Brady, and he's a quarterback, so that's goes to show you more. But
Glorious.
so the game against BIC ended badly because I don't know if you guys know who Ashanti Worthy is.
Yep.
He's a good player, and he scored, I think it was 24
Just a little
points
bit,
on
yeah.
his own. He scored 24 points on his own that game, and we lost that game. But we put the league on notice that, like, hey, the Renegades are for real. They just competed with BIC, and Corey Hammond played his ass off, blah, blah, blah. And then we played the next week, we played the Bulldogs. I had a 4th quarter comeback drive went up with like 20 seconds left, lost that game, right?
Ugh.
So the next game was a playoff game. It was like a play-in game, and it was against the Spanktown, which is now the Snow Tribe. And it was a tough game, and it came down to the wire. But my number 2 moment is in that game, we were down in the fourth quarter with 2:10 left.
Mm.
And I orchestrated a drive in which we tied the game, and then we got the extra point to go up and win the game in those last seconds. And it was, my first ever playoff win, which is crazy. But it was also the fourth quarter comeback that stuck that year. And it was a big deal because, I was talking mad shit to Spanktown because I had once been a Spanktown quarterback for a year, and, I should have known better. But, they were trying to talk shit about me, and I was just like, look, man, you guys are not going to beat me. And they didn't. I did it in their face. I did it, throwing the ball the way that, that they always criticized me for this year. And I reminded them when they asked me back after they cut me, but they asked me back. I reminded them that I don't lose to them. So good luck this season.
Oh, don't be like that. If I had a rock, I'll bust your head, bitch.
Exactly.
Number 1.
Number 1.
And I think my number 1 moment is in the 2017 season. Earlier in that year, I was actually originally supposed to play for the Savage. They were a team. If you watch them in like 19 and they were a fixture in the league, and they're this team in orange. They're a top contender. I had played with them in the fall. We made it to the fall championship and lost to the Chiefs, that actually won the championship that year in the spring as well. And it was a close game, and I had a lot of yards passing throughout the whole fall, and we had an understanding, I thought. That offseason, my best friend since I was 2 years old passed away, and it was tough for me. And there was a lot of bullshit going on with the team. They were trying to hold practices at places that they didn't have the right to be at, and they were just wasting my time. So I just kind of like shut them off for a little bit. And then like 2-3 weeks before the season, I hadn't heard from them, and I'm like, yo, what's up? And they're like, nothing, just get ready for the season, blah blah blah. And I'm like, look, when's practice? I haven't heard from you guys. They had actually replaced me, common theme, with a guy that ended up only playing 4 games, and he never played quarterback again. So it was a bad decision on them again. But they disrespected me. And then week 1, they were like, yeah, we didn't hear from you. So we kind of went in a different direction, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, man, I got shit going on. My best friend like just died. I just took off a little bit. Like, fuck you. Like, tell me. So I left that team week 1. Week 2, I joined BIC. They had just won the championship. I just basically said I'm a free agent, and then a bunch of teams hit me up, and then BIC was like, hey, you wanna come and play with us? And I was gonna be my friend and current Renegades quarterback, CP3, and I was gonna be his backup or whatever. They thought I would add something to the team because he was more of a runner. I can throw, whatever. Yeah. So I kind of played my role the whole year with BIC that year. They were the defending champs. They did lose an edge, looking back on it. But they were still a really talented roster, and we were poised to potentially make a run. But then we struggled, and CP3 was who they blamed for it. Now I think it was a little unfair, to be honest, but I didn't care. And in week 5 of that season, after pretty much playing half the games, we had a trip down to Maryland, in which we were going to play the number 1 defense in the league, the Baltimore Kings. So the Kings were the number 1 defense. They had all these guys from Baltimore that are, just monsters. And BIC informed me on the ride down that I was going to be the starter. and I went. I think I went 21 for 25 that day, like 310 and 6 touchdowns, five touchdowns,
Damn.
and I won like National Player of the Week. Like I still throw that game in Maryland's face every single time I talk to them. The field that they lost because of the management of their guy out there, and I'm not going to go into the specifics, but that field I call Corey Hammond Memorial Field because that day I torched them, and that team the next year changed their name and jersey from the Kings to the Vikings. And I say it's because no team will ever be named the Kings moving forward after I put them to rest that day. So that would be my number one moment because I still trade on that game and that ass whooping to this day. And
So much so that a team changed their fucking name.
And they're not
Oh, my
allowed.
God.
They're not allowed to use that name for the rest of A7FL history because of how dirty I did the Kings.
Well, so. teams getting changed, him changing around all over the place, but now finding a home in Boston where he will be taking on Huff and the Silk City Animals.
Don't tell nobody. Keep it a secret.
Oh, I didn't say the team name just yet. That's what I'm saying. They just know Boston. That's
well,
it.
there's only one Boston team, so you don't have to say.
Oh, okay. Well, so we'll just.
But I'm just saying, let's just keep it with us in the Army. Don't even tell Rob. I don't even think he knows for sure yet.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I think he does.
I was about to say, I'm like, Rob's got his ears, down on the ground. I'm pretty sure he
was gossiping about me one time when I was away from the computer, about to do the 3-on-1. He was gossiping about what he heard about me in practice one time, and then I came back into it, and it was like mad awkward, and I was just like, no, go on, I want to know. So.
Oh shit. Well, Corey, appreciate you for hanging out with us. Go back. We know the wife is glaring at you, wanting to get you out of here right now. We understand. And we want to thank her for allowing you to be with us this entire time. Appreciate that.
Oh, she's giving you a hand gesture back. You guys would love it.
We'll just keep an open mind on what it could be. The 1/3 of the 3-on-1 podcast and A7FL quarterback Corey Hammond. We appreciate you, Corey. We'll talk to you again next time. Good luck this weekend.
And when I'm playing in the game, I'll try.
Good to talk with Corey Hammond. We got it under an hour and a half this time. We got it just under, or about 11 minutes under it, but we got under an hour and a half. So appreciate the hell out of Corey Hammond. Obviously, obviously we've given up more than enough hints to where he's going. If you guys really want to know for sure, I'm not gonna say it. You guys can just watch this weekend to find out for yourselves. March 26th, A7FL kicks off their 9th season, and we're going to be tuned in. You should be tuned in too, because this is one of the fastest growing leagues in the entire country and the longest running spring league in the entire country. So again, appreciate Corey for hanging out with us, giving us 2 top 10s, and his excitement for the upcoming season. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's make some XFL picks here. And then we will do the debut of something that we've been wanting to do forever and now finally have the chance to be able to do. Okay, Saturday, tomorrow, the Sea Dragons coming off a win against the Houston Roughnecks, handing them their first loss playing your favorite team, the Orlando Guardians. Who we got? Is he even there? Kay, you there?
Oh, I'm here. I was letting you finish. I thought you had more of that shitty goddamn take you had. First off, shout out to George Dwyer. Me and George Dwyer have a thing that we've been saying since 2009. It says, fuck you, Charles. Neither one of our names is Charles. George's middle name isn't even Charles. My middle name isn't even Charles.
Yet somehow Charles is taking a stray bullet.
No. So we just say fuck you, Charles, to each other. That's the thing. Like, all right, so here's the thing. Full disclosure, I was fucked up.
I don't doubt it.
I was fucked up.
I think you've told me this story.
We're at a party, and George was like cracking jokes and shit. And I just like turned to him and I was just like, hey, fuck you, Charles. And that was it.
And to this day,
we still, bro. I will swear you, I'll tweet George right now. Like, I promise you, he probably say it back. You'll see it later on. Fucking, I'm gonna do it. But anyway,
we know you got the Sea Dragons. I know I got the Sea Dragons here.
Thank you. Yeah, just don't associate me with those motherfuckers right now until they change it.
We've been talking good about Florida with the U and everything. We don't need to add Orlando into that fucking mix. St. Louis Battlehawks versus the Vegas Vipers in Vegas. I'm going with the Battlehawks. Who you got?
Yeah, let's go with St. Louis.
St. Louis. All right, the Brahmas versus the Renegades in Arlington. I'm going with the Brahmas. I know they're 1-4, but I feel like they're due. And Renegades haven't been playing nearly as good as I think they actually have the potential to be. But I'm going with the Brahmas. Who you got, Kay?
Brahmas or
the Arlington Renegades.
See, that's what I was saying. I'm thinking like the Renegades. Yeah, I'm gonna just go with the Renegades, bro. I went with them last week and I was wrong. So
that works. Houston Roughnecks versus the last remaining undefeated team in the XFL right now, the DC Defenders. They are in DC. DC favored by -2.5, so it's not by much. I think, to be honest with you, minus last week's game against the Sea Dragons, even though that they did play well against the Sea Dragons are just, another good team in the XFL this year.
I just remember, I forgot to send you that goddamn pro day of Trey Wortham.
Oh, we'll get him. I'll see it.
You the damn pro day. I just realized it right now. Continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. I still believe that the Roughnecks are the best overall team in the league. But the Defenders, the Defenders' run game has been, to be honest, incredible this whole year, and has been essentially the anchor to that offense. But the Roughnecks defense, I think, is too good, and I think they'll shut down that run defense. But we'll see. I'm going to go with the Roughnecks in a bounce back game, handing the Defenders their first loss. Kay, who you got?
I'm going Defenders.
Staying staying undefeated, huh?
At least this week.
Okay. You think the Roughnecks this might be one of those things they can't handle the losing, so they just fall off a cliff? No, maybe not. We've seen teams do that before.
No, I don't think that. That's not what I'm saying. No. They're not gonna crumble. That's not what I'm saying. I just think I don't know how to say it. Like, I don't think they're gonna be able to stop Tamu's running. And that's fucking hard for me to figure out because, well, figure out how to say it.
That is an
Because it don't
underrated
sound
factor
right.
in that
Like,
offense.
I don't think Coach Phillips will let that slide, but I don't think they're gonna stop it.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. You got a point. An underrated aspect of that game is Tamu's legs. So,
Because when all else
God, now you got me thinking. Fuck.
because when all else fails, he'll take off run quick. And it's been working. So it's like it's been able to like keep teams balanced a little bit. You know what I mean? They can't just like try to like overload one aspect or
Yeah.
like tee off on the blitz. So I don't
I
know.
mean, all right. Well, DC, I'll still stick with Houston, but I mean that's a good point. That's a good point. Um, XFL obviously this weekend. We got a lot going on this weekend. Caleb Plant versus Benavides Saturday, or actually no, on Saturday. Yeah, it's on Saturday. Formula One all weekend, XFL all weekend, A7FL starting up this weekend. There's so many different things that are happening in the sports world. We have no excuse to not have any type of content come next show on Wednesday. So it's gonna be eventful to say the least. Um, Before we get out of here and everything, I did say we've been trying to add a certain aspect to this show. And we have DJ Mad Sticks on us. Unfortunately he hasn't been able to, be with us, last few episodes and stuff like that. But I mean, he'll be getting back soon. He's not gone. Trust me, he's not gone. But there was kind of a reason why. What?
I said Massey's going to get that bag.
Yeah. So, one of the main reasons why I thought Mad Sticks would be a good addition, not just because, the sports knowledge and stuff like that he has. I did have a part of me who didn't really want him to be on the show just because he was a Cowboys fan, but I thought, hey, fuck it. I have a Cowboys fan, that makes for good arguments because of the rivalry and stuff like that. But the main reason why
I
I
appreciate
wanted to have him
that. I appreciate.
was say what?
I appreciated that because y'all both of y'all argue with each other like both of y'all actually good. That shit is hilarious to me. Thank you.
um, but obviously, the fact that he was a DJ was something that intrigued me the most, because when I was doing the show over at KJCC over at San Jose City, my show implemented music. I talked about sports, then we go into music and a commercial break, then talked about sports, music, but music was always an aspect of the show, and that's something that I wanted to bring into this. It's obviously it's taken us 190 episodes to get to this point, but there is a lot of obviously there's a lot of red tape and shit that you have to go through. Um, when we're live streaming on YouTube, we live stream on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We live stream on all of those, but YouTube has their policies. And we think it may come up as a thing now, but at least we have everything to be able to keep ourselves in the right track. So now musically, from here on out, we will be featuring music on the show. Now, what we're really we would like to get a whole bunch of like music videos and stuff, but we want to hear local artists, here in Sac, down there in the Bay. If you want to
Florida,
get your go ahead.
in Florida,
In Florida, and anywhere
no,
across the country,
no,
honestly. it,
everywhere.
it,
New
it,
York, Iowa,
it,
Michigan.
it's something that we want to be able to showcase, talent
Man, Hawaii, we can't forget that. You got the flag behind you. Shit.
We want to be able to showcase different artists, around the country, hell, around the world. We're listened to in 16 different countries. Um, up from 13 last month. So we just added 3 different countries that we're now being listened to in. And if you're hearing us around the world, hey, we want to hear your music and stuff like that too. You guys got stuff that you want to get out and for people to hear. We want to be a platform for people to be able to go and do that. Just remember, when you do that, please be sure to we need to have expressed written consent from the artist and the producer, whoever else was involved with that music video. We need to have the express written consent from them in order to be able to play it on YouTube and everything else like that without getting dinged for it. So without further ado, the premiere, I gotta come up with a name for it or something. I haven't thought about a name, but the musical aspect of the show, from our very own DJ Mad6 and Master Kingdom, new video that just dropped a couple of days ago, and we've heard it. We think it's awesome. People in the city of Sac, I know are gonna love it. But without further ado, DJ Madsticks and Master Kingdom from the jump. Enjoy.
I swing and I rock, and it just don't stop though. I'm in go, yeah. Ninjas better peep game. Eyes gotta watch cause I do things big, do it small, don't matter. Missing with the chatter, another step on the ladder. I'm a little nicer with the flexing. Nike checking, just did it for the section. Never stressing out a comma for the lesson. Human weapon got them sweating in the session. What's perception to the people be a blessing. I'm in the Hummer finding peace in my aggression. I hit you suckers up, not a question. Like I'm the definition, yeah, I am legend. Eating fettuccine, cook up with the reverend. Praise the Lord for heaven and his breath that's leavened. I hit Laguna Beach with the 2-steppers. She's a little hotter, so we refresh. I'm a point guard, dog, like protection. Watch me Kingdom Rock with the pivot. Like Buckets, Kobe Bryant, show you how to get it. If we ain't talking scoring, player, tell me how we win it. How we win it, yeah. Ninjas better peep game. Eyes gotta watch cause I do things big, do it small, don't matter. Busy with the chatter, another step on the ladder. Yeah, I said ninjas better peep game. Eyes gotta watch cause I do things big, do it small, don't matter. Busy with the chatter, another step on the ladder. Yeah, I get it jumping like crisscross. I'm all in her space like she ready for liftoff. We all in the city and I'm all in my bag. We ain't doing too much, we just making it last. Still getting my cash, fuck ever like Keith. Yo, my name ain't Giannis, but we freaking Greece. Wait a minute, baby, these Egyptian sheets. Wait a minute, baby, yeah. Almost softer than a touch, a little coffee in the morning. Come on, baby, feel the rush. We've been getting to the money, lot of paper, no cuts. Still bumping total, baby, tell me what you want. We have to get together, come on, baby, live it up. Yeah, it's Kingdom on the scene. Everything official, you ninjas know what I mean. Like Macaulay talking, home alone, I've been doing what I want, sitting on the throne, yeah. Ninjas better peep game. Eyes gotta watch cause I do things big, do it small, don't matter. Busy with the chatter, another step on the ladder. Yeah, I said ninjas better peep game. Eyes gotta watch cause I do things big, do it small, don't matter. Missy with the chatter, another step on the ladder.
Yes, sir. Master Kingdom, DJ Madsticks, YouTube. Don't even try to pull that fucking shit off. We have the rights to be able to show that. I've expressed written consent from both of them to be able to use the entire library, essentially. And if you want proof, we got it. So leave this shit up. From here on out, the musical aspect of the show is here. It's debuted. It's awesome. I fucking love it. I can't wait to do more. Appreciate DJ Mad Six, who you guys saw in the music video right there, doing his thing on the ones and twos. Shout out to Master Kingdom and DJ Mad Six for allowing us to play from the jump the brand new music video that just dropped. And for DJ Mad Sticks, it's fucking best DJ in the whole goddamn world. Go find him, DJ Mad Six, on his DJ page over there on Facebook or wherever else you can find DJ Mad Six. Leave a review, listen to his stuff. Master Kingdom, same thing. Dude's got fucking bars. We'll be showing more of him and DJ Mad Six on this show, so you guys actually understand what it is that we're talking about. But obviously, he's very big into the city of Sacramento with everything that you just saw there. So Sacramento, stand up, show some love for your local artists. We appreciate the hell out of every single fucking one of you guys for hanging out with us on this lovely Friday evening. What was that, Kay?
Yo, I was about to say, as soon as the video was over, I was about to say, yo, let's see which one of us can go the longest without cursing. And you're like, fuck this, fuck that, fucking this, fuck this, man. Fuck.
Yep. It is what it is, man.
Lovely. Shout out to the state of Texas.
Appreciate the hell out of every single one of you guys. We will see you guys again on Wednesday for the next podcast. You guys already know. Comment, hit the like button, subscribe, follow, share, do whatever it is. Tell a friend, be a friend. From the Jaffo Army, from the Marvelous Maverick on behind the scenes, myself, JP, and the 610 Beats from the Southeast, Mr. Country K. We will see you guys next time. Deuces.
Aloha.